Hello, folks. On the last episode where we hosted Mr. Gabriel and talked about cross-border business tourism, mainly between South Africa and Botswana, we had so much engagement in forms of comments and opinions shared by different folks from the rest of Africa. Today, we've decided to bring back Mr. Gabriel so we can talk at length and address such questions that we had on the previous episode. Is South Africa our end market goal? Is capitalism the answer to economic development? Are taxes building or killing the economy? Remember, if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, kindly do so because this, my friend, will help you grow as much as it will help us grow. Mr. Gabriel, for the third time, welcome back to the Director's General.
Thank you very much. 3 times is a charm.
True.
That's good.
Error.
No, thank you very much. And to your viewers and your supporters, thank you for joining us.
Beautiful. Our previous episode did wonders.
Yeah?
Yeah. I don't think we saw it coming.
Okay. All right.
But when we do such things, we always hope for growth.
That is good.
So we had a lot of interaction
Okay.
from the previous episode that you and I had.
Yeah. Okay.
In terms of cancer capitalism, in terms of the cancer tax, in terms of who left reserves in terms of presidency and who didn't and all those.
Yes.
Right. So I just wanted us to quickly dive into those so that we can address them and have such a conversation.
I'll do my best. The thing about debating with people you can't see, you can't see their mannerisms, you can't see their body language.
True.
So I suppose you will play the devil's advocate. And
I'll
what
try.
if it triggers yet another episode where we have to now? So it's like a new form of podcasting where you have to respond to.
I guess whatever that works, we'll go for it.
Okay.
As much as we engage with our audience.
All right.
I think we'll go for it.
I'm ready. We can roll.
But I am not promising that I'll be able to read their names because...
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
The first one was all you focus on was the private sector business versus the government. That is too simplistic. The consumer's role is not discussed. You will both fail. For example, your citizens need to know how to conserve in drought or famine. International recessions affect every government. I think Botswana can't compete internationally in any arena with China nor the USA. Foolish to even mention software competition. Separate your delusions from reality. Develop your education and unity. Stop. Okay. Develop your education and unity. Stop. You are no one's competitor. Unite your borders. Humble yourself as a continent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's a whole comment.
That's a whole comment.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an opinion, right? So everyone has one, like a nose, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Let me start first by saying we live in a rules-based system.
Yeah.
Right. So the rules will almost always tell you how things are going to go. So economic systems have to fit within those rules.
Yes.
So when we speak of central planning or command economy or mixed economy,
Yes.
when we speak of competition, when we speak of geopolitical giants in the name of China in this case,
Yes.
we speak within those rules. There are extents and limits to which you can play within that space. So once you understand that, you'd understand that there are certain things you can and cannot do. Like, for instance, there's nothing wrong with our education. If anything, our education has served us very well. The question is, what is education for?
Yes.
Education is essentially to prepare citizens to be active in the economy, right? It's not to prepare them to work.
For employment.
Yes, not to prepare. So that's why it's it's standardizing. That's why you do standard 1, standard 2, standard. You are being standardized so that we all know 2 + 2 is 4.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And then you go into the forms. You are formed because after we remove the natural you, and we have standardized you for the system and prepared you for the conveyor belt.
Yes.
Then we must form you
Yeah.
in the image of the system, right?
Yes.
So we must prepare you to be an adult who can have the fortitude to exist in a system that's created. Because the system is a relic of our own imagination. It doesn't exist in reality, right?
Yeah.
Borders don't exist in reality. But we believe in them so much, so vehemently, we are willing to kill other people who try to cross them. But these are just paradox.
Yes.
Just like the landmass of Africa is basically a giant farm, and in it you've got basically people who essentially you can argue they're cattle who move the soil here and move it there, and they call it civilization. Yeah. So these are elements that when you bring them together, you start understanding that how you think of these systems and the economic systems that we're talking about. It's essentially knowing that socialism operates a certain way within the limits of the rules. Capitalism, same thing, and all of that. So I find it difficult to directly respond to this comment because essentially because these are sound bites in the political space. I'm only commenting on the socio-economic perspective, but in politics, these are serious sound bites that divide, opinion, that divide people, that divide tribes, up to the micro institutions. Really, you can have that.
Do you feel like we are so much into politics to an extent that we even fail to build ourselves to where we want to be as a country?
Well, a human being is a political animal. Yeah. A human being has to be political because politics is really the management of human activity. Yeah. For you to be able to regulate so that we are not like beasts, which by our fallen nature, we are beasts, right? We respond to stimuli. We respond to attrition. You know, if there's attrition between us, we respond, right? So when you try to regulate the affairs of human beings, that's where politics come in. That's where you need to manage the ideas that people have. Let's take, for instance, the issue of the Constitutional Court in Botswana.
Yes.
Everyone has an image of their own constitutional court. Everyone. The LGBTQI society or group, they have a framing for why they would support the Constitutional Court. Traditionalists have the same thing. Even the president has his own view for why the Constitutional Court is so vehemently defended by his administration and actually him pushing it. Because you may find, and you know what I love about President Duma Boko? Yeah. President Duma Boko, I think, in many ways, he's going to be like other presidents before him in Botswana. He's going to be misunderstood because he somehow behaves and speaks as if he's trying to say, can you please raise your thinking? Mm-hmm. But we go with the sound bites. I'll give you an example. He stood in Tuarikosi and he put it clearly why the Constitutional Court will be essential as a process that runs parallel to a constitutional review. And one of the things that struck me, and which to me is the real reason why he has decided, or him and his advisors have decided that the Constitutional Court should go in first, is the Tribal Territories Act. So the Tribal Territories Act, the Khosi, they have how they see the Constitutional Court. They have how they see the state. They have how they see the law. You understand?
Yes,
it's
yes.
not the same way as their subjects. Their subjects see these things differently. So in that case, we are not able to have a common identity, common values, common direction and vision. So we need politics to bring us together.
Yes.
Where we have a problem is now when we turn party politics. Now I'm making a difference.
Yeah,
we
yeah,
now
yeah.
turn party politics into football teams. It's my team against yours, and no matter what happens, I gotta win.
Yeah.
And then now what that happens is that then it reduces the capacity that we have to reason at an even higher level. And we just go to the fundamentals and the basics of just, this is a political landscape, and we must, it must be for the presidency or for control of government or nothing.
Yes.
Yeah. So in that sense, then I would agree with you that maybe politics then is a foolish man's game. But politics are real. It's real people. You are dealing with real people. Just like the economy. The economy is not abstract because it affects people directly. So that would be the best way I can respond to your question.
All right. The next one is, we will never have a Soviet socialist African empire. Keep dreaming. Free market and small government is the way to go.
Well, essentially, that person is speaking for capitalism, and you know what's difficult about being a Botswana?
Yeah.
Is that Botswana, we are very privileged, and we look at the world with rose-colored glasses because of our background.
Yeah.
The development state, which is Botswana, essentially always started as a capitalist state. So we have never really experienced some of these socio-economic systems. We have transitioned, we have gone through the transition towards those systems, but we have largely been a development capitalist state. So you have, may his soul rest in peace, Dr. Festus Gontiwanyi Mogai, right? I wish he was celebrated even more for his contribution to the financial and economic infrastructure of Botswana.
Yeah.
Even long before he joined government, he was already working in that space. I mean, starting right in the tail end of the 60s and early 70s, he had already started working with a team of high economists and technocrats to shape the economic basis of Botswana.
Yeah.
So by the time he was even Minister of Finance and Development Planning, by the time he was Vice President, by the time he was President, the infrastructure was already laid. And he famously said, it is widely known that it's the private sector that actually does the best resource distribution,
Yes.
which is true. Because, listen, you want the state to be Elon Musk, right?
Yeah.
And you want citizens to be witness this to you,
Yes.
right? So Elon Musk he allocates capital, right? And I'll show you the difference. The
Yes.
state allocates capital, right? Citizens allocate, the distribution. So citizens must get involved in driving logistics, driving distribution, and all of that.
Yes.
So the two must work together. And because it was a development state at the time, it made sense why Botswana government became so huge, so big that, our data is not complete.
Yeah.
In fact, our GDP, if we were to really collect the complete data, I think our GDP will actually fall from where it is currently. Because even our GDP per capita, I think it will fall.
Yeah.
And this is why there's kind of like a disjoint between the state and the citizens. Like the state is very wealthy, but the citizens are very poor, But it's because, for instance, we don't really collect the producers' activity. So we don't have like a producers' index.
Yeah.
So literally the data we are collecting is within government's business ecosystem. Mm-hmm. So you are collecting data from energy, which is government.
Yes.
You are collecting data from mining, which is government. But there's no data on processing, on production, on any of that. So we are blind spotted. We really don't have a complete view of how bad or how good things are in our country. So in that regard, then we need to start imagining that we need to move from a development capitalist state to a productive capitalist state. And a productive capitalist state, by the way, is what this current administration is pushing towards with the Botswana Economic, what is it called? Transformation Program, right?
Yes,
the
yes.
BETP, yes. Yeah. Actually, that is exactly what government is trying to say. It's trying to say, why don't you take over the running of the rest of the economy? We will come from behind with the infrastructure that gets you to the market or that simplifies your export capabilities and all of that. So in that framing, we are actually in the middle of a capitalist state in Botswana. So maybe we are speaking from a point of privilege, because then everywhere else, they are thinking ideologically. And we'll come to the issue of ideologies, right? Their thinking ideologically has always been left-leaning. It's always been, while the state might be mixed, but the people operating the state are heavily left-leaning. Yes. And they always, one way or the other, either end up creating a state of dependency where everyone has to depend on the state, because that maintains power and control, and it can be centralized. Take Zimbabwe, for instance. The power is really quite centralized in Zimbabwe. Yeah. And you'll be crushed if you try to split that power into pieces. You'll be crushed. They will even follow you in your house and send you a bullet drawn on a piece of paper and say, either this or you withdraw. Yeah. Your choice.
Yeah. So, do you think, I want us to go back a little bit on the GDP per capita. Yeah. Do you think our GDP is currently not 100% true, because some of the numbers are pre-assumed for this is what might be actually going on, because I think from what I hear from you, most of the production from the private market is not really captured as it should.
I mean, it's not a surprise. It's not. I'm not the person saying it. It's government saying it. It's Statistics Botswana saying it. The data is incomplete. Yeah. But if you look at the whole continent, first of all, you need to yes. Before you can actually do something to change your circumstances. First, you must accept the conditions within which you live. Yes. You must accept the reality within which you exist, right? Yes. So, Africa is a poor continent when we use the current means of data collection and management, right? Yeah. For instance, we produce contribution to global GDP, just barely 4% of global GDP. But this is a continent of now going possibly 1.8 billion people, inhabitants. Yeah. So you want to tell me, and I can give you a lived example. South Africa, which like Botswana, but just on a bigger scale, yes, has functioning systems, can collect data for HIV. Nigeria, which is bigger than South Africa, land mass and population, yes, is unable to collect HIV data, right? So you would then have a discrepancy where South Africa will always have more HIV/AIDS cases reported than Nigeria.
But it doesn't mean Nigeria doesn't have more cases.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
It just means that Nigeria is not collecting the data that's required to be collected.
Yeah.
If you were to collect the data of drug dealers in South Africa, they'll probably be overwhelmingly from other countries, right? But go and collect data on drug dealers in Nigeria. What will it look like? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is African economies, while there has been a lot of work that's gone into collecting data and understanding where the challenges may be, the data is too narrow. It is collected within government-controlled spaces. So that is the same case with us. So all our data, all our economic data, if not most of it, maybe I shouldn't use all.
Yes.
Most of our economic data comes from the traditional spaces that already government has a lot more leverage in and access to. But anything outside that, we are the ones who must invest in it. Okay. Some of us, we have already done that. I'll give you an example. There's a market here at Gaborone Basrank.
Yes.
Next to, maybe I shouldn't mention brands, but next to the hotel that's there.
Yes.
It's owned by the Gaborone City Council. Recently it was controversial. The council wanted to take it back because the tenants are owing in the region of 15 billion to the council. And back when our agents, we were setting up our agents and we needed data, we couldn't get data. So we had to invest to go and find the data. Mm-hmm. One of the places we invested in was in that market, right? We were there for a month. We spent, at the time, I think what year was this? Several years ago.
Yeah.
We spent close to 45,000 pula. Adjusted for inflation, it could be about 55, 60,000 pula today.
Yes.
Right? So we spent it in 1 day. In one month. Within 2 weeks, we had already seen the gaps, the challenges that were there. And while we were there, we received a notice, right? We had sublet, by the way. We had sublet.
Okay.
So we received a notice from the council. They came, they dropped a letter. So we opened the letter. And obviously, we had to give it to the landlord at the time. And the letter literally said, the stall was being rented to the landlord, well, to the tenant, who was now a landlord.
To you.
To us. But it was written to the actual tenant, right?
The current ones.
No.
Okay.
Now we were blind. We were not known to be there. So the rental was 300. I think it was 330, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
330 a month. But she was owing 22,000 pula. So that means she had stayed as good as about 8 years.
Yeah.
9 years without paying rent. 330 bucks. And owing 20,000. So you have a situation where now we only lasted a month. It was so many years ago. So that's why there need to be 15 billion.
Yes.
But what the Gaborone City Council does not know is the data that we have that will tell them why the people are failing to even afford 300 pula of rent in their properties. So then we will always, remember even last episode, we said then government reacts.
Yes.
So now instead of saying, but why are you guys owing 15 billion? What is the problem? Government says, no, you need to move. We need to raise this down. We need to give it to a developer and what have you. But we will still have the structural challenges that are actually keeping them where they are if we don't go there and collect the right data. But because we don't have a production index, we will never understand their space. So we will always blame them. They will always make decisions that are wrong, that they will always price themselves out of the market. There will always maybe, I don't know, there will be leakages from wholesalers with their employees, maybe siphoning stock out so that it can be sold for a lower price, so that they can maintain and suppress prices because they are competing on a price. So there can be so many things that data can help in saying you need to adjust, and which is what we did. We called a meeting. We were referred to the committee. There's a committee. We went to the committee and we said, look, we found discrepancies in this business, and we need to, call a meeting and tell everybody we need to adjust. Otherwise, you all are going to be very poor for a very long time. Yeah. And when we came back 2 days later for an answer, we were told, meeting. So then we packed our things and left, because we were on a mission. We were not there to operate a stall. We were there to collect data. Then we went to other sectors. We've been to different sectors. We have even checked ourselves into hospitals. I won't mention which ones, just to see how hospitals work when you are inside as a patient. We have been naked in front of people so that we can be taken into a hospital, and then you can do the data while you are inside. Yes. Maybe one day I will speak more exclusively about that. We have dealt with homeless people in the streets of Johannesburg, trying to understand what happens in the streets of Johannesburg. Yeah. You will be amazed at how much data you can collect when you commit yourself to doing that. So this data is available, but it's useless if nobody wants to use it. It's useful to us. That's why we invested. Yes.
So basically what you're saying is the reason why there was so much defaults in rental yako pass ranking was because hona le shortage ya data to the council.
Accurate data gives you, in the last episode, we spoke of capitalism being able to give you the right price signals. Yes. So the data gives you the signal. Yes. To say, if the cost of production is 20 pula, so the cost, my profit margin should be so much. Yes. Right? Yes. So it doesn't help if your profit margin is not based on if you don't have a base cost. Yes. So when you listen to our informal caterers, yes, they will tell you they price their products kasishabo.
Because it is a more expensive one.
No, not necessarily.
Okay.
Not necessarily. You see, you are making the same mistake because now you are used to it. Because now it's part of it's part of our culture. So plate kibuka, beef kibuka, chicken kibuka. You see, it's like we are selling chicken, we are selling beef. Mo tota it's just to accompany tota rona rixa chicken li beef le. You see what I'm saying? Yes. Then you'll be asked, so what a salad is a guy. But those are after the fact. They are not what they are selling. They've already told you rixa chicken, rixa beef. The difference in the prices is whether it's chicken or beef. Or it's got nothing to do with whether your palichi, it's enzo butter, or you are doing great service, or tapisa batu diatla, or dinchanazaho, gidi chopsticky. No, it's got nothing to do with innovation. Yes. It's got nothing to do with positioning in the market. It's got undercuts the next person. So that's what keeps literally that space where it is. Same thing, excuse me. We investigated why Metelo fail. We collected a lot of data. We spent a lot of money. We lost a lot of money in the process. We just became like all the thinking, the statistics we were trying to chase to say, why are you failing in this business? And we failed because we followed it the same way. We did. You would go and ask people. They will tell you, catering alamad. Yeah, you can walk around with 1.5 every day. You're like, so what would be your cost? They wouldn't know. They wouldn't know.
Mr. Gabriel, why do we specifically price our food gas sharp?
I don't know. That's why Runa we invested.
Yes.
So that's why Runa we invested. We put money. We said, but this doesn't make sense. You don't have those price signals, you don't have that data from Statistics Botswana.
Okay.
Statistics Botswana will tell you how many diamonds left the country.
Yeah.
Statistics Botswana will tell you how much of those diamonds brought in terms of revenue. Statistics Botswana will tell you how much didn't sell.
Yes.
But Statistics Botswana will not tell you anything else. Statistics Botswana will only tell you how many bags of imported mealie meal
Yes.
but the Statistics Botswana will not tell you how many plates from
Those bags.
those bags
Yeah.
were sold. You don't have that data. That data should be collected by the private sector. You understand?
Yes.
But we don't have those systems in place to be able to do that. And because we are fragmented, as I always say, we don't have a regular integrator, we are not able to then collect that data and meaningfully collect that data. Because it's expensive to collect data.
Yes.
You know, if you're going to spend 40,000 pula or thereabouts if in 1 month to understand the dynamics of, by the way, we made a profit of 109 pula that whole month.
Yeah.
Right there. So if you're going to spend all that money, then try to do that, replicate that across several industries. You can't do that without a sponsor or without someone buying that data or somehow.
Yes, sir.
So the only reason why government can do that within its own ecosystems is because it's simple. As they are working, they are collecting the data. So it's simple. There's already a channel to do that. Yeah.
Okay. Moving on, excuse the language. What nonsense? Show me one communist state in the SADC region. Africa as a whole is a neo-capitalist. The phrase money talks, a capitalism slogan, is an Africanism. So stop the communist African nonsense. We are not. Europe, which is richer than Africa by every metric, is a socialist society with the state full responsible for the welfare of the people. But here you have an African saying, no, we want small government and big business. Why can't we have both? Europe does.
That's a contradiction. Why can't we have both?
Yeah.
But you just said we are asking for small business and big business.
Yeah.
First of all, I already said that really Botswana, we are sometimes talking out of privilege. Secondly, I didn't say there is a state that is left-leaning.
Yes.
I said our political systems are left-leaning or are led by left-leaning ideologies. That's what I said. I'll give you an example, right? When you have people who say we need to have a state that runs all industries, that's communism. The state doesn't have to be communist.
Yeah.
But the people running it, they are ideologically, because on top of these rules, you connect as a human being to the rules with your ideology. And please take this one seriously.
Yeah.
If you met a Muslim man, an Arab man, wearing the Muslim garb and carrying a backpack, comes into the office and leaves it here and starts running out, what comes to your mind?
We're all going to run after him
Why?
because of how they are perceived to be.
Because of the ideological framing that has been portrayed
Yeah.
about Islam. We don't even know if this person is Muslim.
Yeah.
We don't even know if they follow Islamic teachings. We know nothing, but we already are primed to understand that someone like this holds a certain ideological position. You understand?
Yeah.
We understand that when we are amongst Christians, there is going to be prayer.
True.
When you start a meeting, there's going to be prayer. You also keep quiet. You put your head down, or you walk out if you have a problem.
Yeah.
But Christians will pray. That's an ideology. So everyone has an ideology. So before they can interact with the system, they interact first of all with who they are internally. You understand?
Yeah.
So their ideological framing then seeps into everything that they do. Their decision making, their resource allocation, their capital allocation, all come from the idea that I understand the world according to my own ideology. So a communist doesn't need to have to remove the system the way it is.
Yes.
They just have to implement their ideas within the ideological framing that they have. So you cannot entirely dismiss ideologies. While there are no states that are traditionally and in a classic sense ideologically aligned, the people operating those systems are still ideologically aligned. For a continent as large as ours, it doesn't make sense why we want to remain with such a large informal sector. I mean, most countries in Africa are running informal sectors in the region of between 70 and 90%.
Yeah.
With literally 90% being countries like Zimbabwe. Countries like Nigeria, 85%, informal sector. How are you going to build wealth like that, where you are able to keep people, that large number of people in the informal sector? How are you going to create wealth? How are you going to preserve your borders at all? You know, how are you not going to trigger migration, illegal or otherwise?
Yes.
It's because you have a small group of people who get to benefit and cause what we call a cantillon effect on the rest of the population. So you are killing people with inflation. You are lucky because all the state revenue comes to you first. So you start buying assets while they are cheaper, and then your consumption causes that cantillon effect that then transfers because asset prices immediately rise, and then everyone else gets knocked.
Yeah.
And then, so the people who are speaking like this person, who I respect, by the way, either they have this vested interest to work for government, because Africans love to work for government, because the language of government is you have a permanent job, you are permanent and pensionable, you have got medical aid, you've got this, you've got that, you've got this. So the framing is that when you work for government, goodness, you are as good as you have arrived. You understand? So you then have this thing. That's why you even have unions that are formed within government by government employees to even further insulate themselves, to even further threaten the politicians that if you don't increase our salaries, we will topple you, we will remove you, and we'll put someone else who will further put the country in danger by going to get more loans so that we get paid more. We don't care about everyone else. So everyone who says, no, we need to have a workers' party, you are essentially saying the workers must continuously. You understand?
Yes,
And when you say workers' party, you mean government workers. You don't mean private sector workers. Right now, private sector workers in Botswana are living hand to mouth. They are living hand to mouth. It's very sad. They are very poor. They wear torn clothes to work. Baraka ko inama. No, don't laugh. It's serious. Baraka ko inama. Why? Because literally, I will give you an example, right?
Yeah.
And I'm going to use your own industry.
Yes.
You deal with this all the time. A corporation owes 2,000 pula. 2 million.
Yeah.
2 million pula in VAT.
Yes.
It's struggling to pay. In the books, it has the withholding has happened.
Yes.
But the actual cash is not has not transferred.
Yes.
Right? So you have a scenario where now this 2 million starts getting penalties and then getting interest on penalties. So you are now compounding, you are treating this like it's compound interest.
Yeah.
So in a space of 3 years, you have moved from 2 million to 6 million. All of a sudden, without any value exchanged. Without any value exchanged, you are now owing an extra 4 million out of nowhere. Like this is fake 4 million that you owe.
Any transaction?
There was no transaction, there was no value exchange, but this is value added tax.
Yes.
You have 4 million that's sitting here with no value exchange at all. Purely because the technocrats who are sitting there, and which is what we saw when we found ourselves inside hospitals. People, well-meaning people, good people, would treat you so harshly, will break your arms if necessary, because the regulations permit minimum force.
Yeah.
You go to maternity wards. Your woman is sitting there in pain and what have you, and she's delivering. The same people speaking like that will go to a private hospital and they will not accept being told that.
Yeah.
But yet, that's what they do. So these people will be sitting there, the technocrats will be sitting there, and they will literally tell you, there's nothing we can do with this extra 4 million pula. You have to pay it. And then you'll be like, okay, listen, because now this is conversation I've had. Okay, we'll say, okay, but we can get an exemption, you know. So the minister can do an exemption for us in this case. Yes. And they'll say, yeah, that's for sure. But you must pay the principal. Then we can talk about
exemption.
Then we can talk about this.
Yes.
And then we can take you to the minister, and the minister will decide. Not the minister won't wipe it off.
Yes.
No, will decide. So that means you are perpetually enslaved to perpetually produce fictitious money from no value exchange. It's not even fictitious value, because there was no value that's exchanged. So people who speak like this person, I know we went round and round, are people who either wish to work for government or who wish to join politics, because those are the only people who benefit directly from tax. Other than that, tax destroys wealth. Tax is used to whip the masses. It's used to slow down the energy, because currency is like energy, you know. And the first law of thermodynamics is simply this: energy is never lost.
Yes.
So it's equally, wealth is not lost. Equally, wealth is fixed. It can only transfer from one end to another. So the people who receive fresh money all the time, like for instance, we had an inflation increase. I think we are over 10% now.
10.3.
Yeah, probably slightly higher now.
Yeah.
And statistics Botswana said, no, this is imported tax. Inflation, which is a tax.
Yeah.
Like, why are you surprised? You have spent 2 years borrowing to pay the recurrent budget. Recurrent budget massively pays salaries, literally pays government operations. You are refusing to reduce this thing. So you have recently opened borders for things that were restricted. Obviously, they will come in, deal en masse. Obviously, you will import the inflation that's on the rent. You will import all of those things, but you can't be surprised, because when government got a loan to pay you, you bought those things for cheap. By the time when the money trickles down to you, let's say you are at a conference and you have been hired as a speaker at a conference and you get paid. That's how then that money trickles down to you.
Yes.
And now you take that money and you go to the store and the prices have gone up because of that initial consumption of people who got cheaper money.
Yes.
When by the time the money comes to you, inflation. It's expensive.
Yeah.
That's how these dynamics work. So when we say we want smaller government, we don't mean we want government to have less money. Yes. We are saying government should streamline its workforce so that it has more capital.
Reduce expenses. To
be able to do social infrastructure.
Yes.
Because social infrastructure is critical. And that's why you can't eliminate government. Even in the first episode, I said you can't go against any government in the world. So you can't eliminate government. Why? Because there must be a commonwealth. Like roads are a commonwealth.
Yes.
So when you create, and let me bring this up as another way of showing you how taxes work, right? Yes. When you bring up security guards, private security guards, mo di bus stop, the public roads. And they are there to police gore o palama eng ga o palameng. That's a tax. Because tax by its nature, it's coercive.
Yes.
It tax takes. You are not asked to pay tax. That's why we have never had, our forefathers have never taken tax lying down. We are here because of the hard tax that was imposed on Botswana by the British government. The hard tax, our fathers fought so hard. They even were forced to leave their cattle, which was their main source which is the base, let me say, which is the base of our economy, really, Botswana. But they were forced to abandon that, forced to leave their wives behind and their children behind. And they went and they dug the deepest man-made hole in Kimberley, where they extracted diamonds so that they can raise the 5 pences and the 25 pences that they were being paid to come and pay for the hard tax that was here. So since then, there has never been in the history of time where human beings have not had a war with their governments for no other reason other than tax. Yeah. You go to all the revolutions, the American Revolution, at the core of it was the tax that was levied by the British on the American colonies. You go to France, the French Revolution, tax. You have I think her name is Antoinette, if I'm not mistaken. You will have to check to help me there. Yeah. When she was being told, the peasants outside, they have a problem because the state had become so large and it had become so detached from reality. Yes. that they didn't have a problem with living in opulence amongst all the peasants living in poverty, and they were begging for food, and she was like, let them have cake. Yeah. You see, so all revolutions you can think of, it doesn't matter which, tax is at the heart of that revolution. Yeah. So even up to today, when you start having a private militia patrolling streets and stopping people from using public roads with whomever they want to do, as protected even by the Constitution, you associate with whomever you want. You are creating a very dangerous and a very it's a horrible sliding slope, and we shouldn't go that route. So tax, and I'll keep repeating. I'll talk about tax until until we don't talk about tax anymore. Yeah. But tax is purely something that destroys wealth because the government is trying to stop the movement, the velocity of money, chasing goods and services that are in short supply. So you take 3.2 billion, you pay staff, but you only have 1 billion worth of supplies. Yeah. There will be inflation.
True. Botswana must be a South African province once. That other comment, the reply for that one cannot happen. We cannot be ruled by Boers. Black Africa don't develop without what I call technical economic base. For example, our people must make a simple thing like an electric bulb. We must not wait for a white Philip Dutch company to make it for us. What we are using to make for us what we are using in Southern Africa. He seems to be confused in just believing in capitalism because maybe that's what he has been taught to believe in. I think he lacks the knowledge, pretends otherwise the shortfalls of capitalism and its evils on the population. No capitalism without the exploitation of the Africa.
Well, those are the political sound bites I was talking about earlier. So I don't like commenting on direct politics, especially party politics. I don't like commenting on that. Yeah. You won't win because it's my team against yours. Yeah. However, I'm going to say, as Africans, we need to transform our view of the world. Yeah. Our view of the world is, in short, is caught between the East and the West. Right now, the East is winning the social media war.
Yeah.
Right? The East looks good. China is rising. Russia is kicking ass, etc., etc. Oh, America is falling. But the same people, let me show you something critical, right?
Yeah.
And show you how ideological positioning can be a brain rot, right?
Yeah.
The people who are saying this will say Benjamin Netanyahu, the prime minister of Israel, is a terrorist and is a horrible man to want to take war and crush the Palestinians, right?
Yeah.
But the same people will say Ibrahim Traore in Burkina Faso is doing so great to repel the terrorists who are trying to destabilize Burkina Faso. But when you look closely, there's no difference between the two. You understand? And I will qualify why.
Yeah.
Nelson Mandela at one point was a terrorist. So he may have been a Palestinian. He may have been the terrorists that are terrorizing Burkina Faso. You understand?
Yeah.
I'm not taking sides. I'm trying to show you that the people who speak like this are taking sides.
Yes.
It's who has impressed them the most. If Putin is their man, you can't say anything about Zelensky. And those that support President Zelensky, you can't say anything. When they say Putin is an animal, you can't tell them, war is war. It's brutal like that. So in the end, we need to transform how we look at the world as Africans. We need to claim, the civilization of the world.
Yes.
We are the birth of civilization. These are our inspiration. We have inspired the world to be the way it is, historically speaking. And then, secondly, we need to marvel at the capacity of a human being in general, because we are all human. We need to marvel at what we are able to do. Yeah. You know, I don't know if you know the Haber-Bosch process. A lot of us today, we are alive because of the Haber-Bosch process. And the Haber-Bosch process came from Germany. So you want to tell me that due to our ideological differences, I must not recognize innovation and advancement when it comes from the East because I'm aligned with the West, or vice versa. Yeah, yeah. I must have a problem with innovation from the West because now I'm aligned with the East. But here we are. We have advanced the human experience in leaps and bounds. Look at the exponential increase in our what do they call it? Now I'm speaking about chickens. Our mortality rate. So we live longer today, and it's purely because of advancements in science, which much of it in Africa we import. We have technological transfers all the time. But we speak as if, you know what, we could care less. We can take 1/3 of the world and deal business with them and close the others. Yeah. I'm saying that's kind of limited. We need both the East and the West and the North as a market for us because we are one giant piece of slice in the middle. Yeah. So we literally can sell to everyone and advance ourselves. So that, to me, that's the level where I prefer to see the world, that let's advance ourselves. Can we speak about ourselves? Can we speak about Africans? Can we speak about socio-economic systems from the African perspective? When we spoke the last episode, I said for Africa, capitalism would be best when it is collaborative. I was trying to distinguish it from Western capitalism, which is consumptive and extractive. Yes. You understand? So I was saying the system itself is not the problem. It's how you implement the system.
So you want capitalism to be collaborative with
Of course. And I mentioned why. Because we don't have the capacity to build large, gigantic warehouses where we can fit in machines. Yeah. Look at what Elon Musk is doing. He's literally creating spaces that are as big as maybe half of Gaborone. Yes. And it's just one giant business, one giant warehouse. We don't have that capacity. But if we collaborate, we can mimic a factory size output.
Yeah.
but using small things. So it's still capitalism, but we have distributed it amongst ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have run out of time. I'm just going to quickly read some of the comments so that we can just appreciate what the audience were. The other one was saying, that's a damn lie. I think here is when we were talking about the reserves. That's a damn lie. Ian left Botswana empty. He never did anything for Botswana. To a point, he ran from his country because he was undergoing investigations. Masisi left the money. What do you think the UDC is surviving with? Because they haven't done any investment to Botswana as we speak. They are relying on funds they were left by the previous government.
Okay, we need to address that one quickly. we don't need to read all of them.
Yeah.
We need to address that one.
Yes.
Because I know where they are referencing that, where I said President Mogai is the only president who actually left savings.
Yes.
Savings. When you speak of savings in economics, you speak of surpluses. So you have to look at which administration posted more surpluses. Mm-hmm. For you to be able to say which administration was a saving administration.
Yes.
Because if you are not running surpluses, you are running deficits.
True.
So when you are running deficits, you are not saving.
You are not saving.
Just because there is money, it doesn't mean you are saving.
Yes.
When you are running deficits. It means you are using your past inventory to fund your current production.
Yes.
But your current consumption, but your production, in the case of President Ian Khama, he had to stop production.
Yes.
But he had to still maintain consumption.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
So then there was a deficit. And by the way, just to add that we are here, all our presidents did well. Yes. They all faced their own troubles. President Ian Khama, he faced a very difficult time. And one of the reasons why we then slided towards communism, and I won't say we went to communism, but towards communism.
Yes.
It was because eventually BDP I think it was if it was not an extraordinary Congress, but it was something. It was at Limpopo. I remember this because Rebo Zalon who's my brother, whom I can mention him.
Yes.
And I can always say sorry later if I misrepresented the events at the time.
Yes, yes.
He was the SG. At the Limpopo Special Congress, let me call it that.
Yes.
You will please fact check.
Yes.
The BDP at the time said they are now going to centralize government business. So government business was to come directly from Tsuletsa. So before that, government had its own business. The political class, they came to help the technocrats to administrate. But then the reasoning of BDP at the time was that when things go pear-shaped, you blame the BDP. So we might as well Rene, basically the driver of government business. Mm-hmm. So that's where it came from. So since then, that's what we've been doing. Yes. And at the time, maybe it was because, I'm not sure, maybe it was because President Khama, who had dealt with the Chinese at the beginning, President Khama actually started very well. President Khama understood a very simple thing about the economy. In fact, he would have been the most capitalist we have ever had when he started, the way he started.
Yeah.
He started by drawing down from the reserves to fund particularly two key areas, and they were the energy and water.
Yes.
It was to say we need uninterrupted power supply, uninterrupted water supply, because that's the infrastructure for a bubbling economy.
Yes.
But the Chinese did him a number. He was so angry. President Ian Khama was so angry with the Chinese. He was so angry. If there was anything that I saw him vexed with, and the thing I love about President Ian Khama is that when he doesn't like something or when he has a problem with you, you won't hear it from other people. You won't read anonymous group postings on Facebook. No, he will call you and he will tell you, he'll call you out publicly. He went on Business Day. I think it was Business Day, the South African business newspaper.
Yes.
And I think it was Business Day. And he literally said, no, we've been basically screwed by the Chinese.
Is it about the Morupule power plant?
Everything.
Yeah.
Oh, the stadium was supposed to be ready for the World Cup in 2010. It wasn't. The airport was supposed to be ready. We were supposed to literally be a spillover. Gaborone at the time immediately shifted and changed. You had homes. You had people living in Gaborone who moved out of Gaborone into the periphery and who prepared their homes into B&Bs.
Yes.
So that the people who were coming to South Africa would come here.
Yes.
That fell apart, all because of the Chinese.
Yes.
And he didn't like that at all. He even went to Tlokweng. I think if I'm not mistaken, he addressed I think it was a rally, if not a Kotla meeting, in Tlokweng. And he said, Rejelwe ke ma China.
Yeah.
So in the end, I think that taught the BDP to say, you know what, we need to centralize the management of our resources.
Yeah.
And from there, we then have had all the administration try to do that. But this administration is sending mixed signals to me. On the one end, they're saying the BETP is to have the private sector lead. But on the other hand, they're saying, but we are insourcing, so they are expanding. So I don't know how it's going to go. So I'm looking forward to the wisdom and how things turn out. Yes.
Okay. Let me just read three last ones, and then we can close. I choose to disagree that capitalism will reduce taxes. He could have never been wrong to suggest such, unless he's addressing this without any idea of what capitalism does. Tax the poor and reduce tax on the rich. I find his reasoning a complete opposite, with records to prove. One question: why is the US collapsing? If capitalism is so good, one can only draw one conclusion from his reasoning. He is a product of West education. And then your guest is misleading. The country is misleading. These countries are top capitalist economies living beyond their means. Look at their debt level to their GDP. United States 120%, UK 101%, France 116 to 117, Italy 137 to 138. Masire Mogae Kama left all savings. Kama even left more savings than the other two. China, with their central planning economy, managed to surpass all countries. No country has ever managed to do what China did in the past 30 years, able to move 100 million people out of poverty. China, infrastructure and industrialization cannot be matched by any country. Examples in rail, renewable energy, electric vehicles. Singapore has one of the world's best known examples of state-guided mixed economy. Okay? He's so passionate about supporting SMEs. One day we will sign contracts he's advocating for. China did not do proper market economy. They observe no labor laws, no environmental laws, and don't respect any intellectual property. Botswana, Lesotho, Namibia, Swaziland, and SA should just be one country.
Yeah.
I'm an egg producer. How can I get in on the table export? It has been destabilized Africa. Xenophobia and make sure black people point fingers on each other to destroy economies.
Yeah, well.
Your president loves being on the African stage, shooting off his...
I think that is all taking the time that we have. I wanted to say, you couldn't have been wrong at all with China.
Yeah.
Deng Xiaoping, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his second name well, but Xiaoping actually is credited for opening China up, especially to foreign direct investment, particularly from the US.
Yes.
So this whole thing of saying the East and the West, there's no East and West between China and the US.
Yes.
That is just for supporters, my team, your team.
Yeah.
But much of the investment, foreign direct investment that flew into China came from the US.
Yes.
Moving the production base from America to China, it was a deliberate decision. And by 1987, the first email from Germany to China arrived. So that's when that's why they say socialism with Chinese characteristics. But it's just market economics with obviously government controlling the space. That's understood. But to say it's socialism, I don't know about that.
All right. All right. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Gabriel. I don't know. We didn't address all the comments, but we didn't answer their questions. I don't know. In closing,
Well, it's a privilege, first of all. Thank you that we could respond to them. So it's a privilege. I'm honored. I'm happy to learn. I'm ever open to learn. And these interactions are part of learning. Thank you.
Always the best.
Thank you.
All right. Folks, thank you so much for tuning in. This was Mr. Gabriel, and we're just trying to answer some of the questions that we had on the previous episode. And folks, like I said, if you did not subscribe to our YouTube channel, please do so, because it'll help us grow. It'll help you grow, because we promise to keep on bringing great guests, have beautiful conversation that grows economies. Until we meet again, my friend, this is the Director's General, and I'm Witness D2. Thank you.